is Saturday, February 10th, and you are watching You Don't Watch Sports right here on the Feo Grande YouTube network. I am Bill Smith, and I am joined, as always, by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Feo Grande, Omari Ellis. Omari, how was your sports week?
You know, it was a bit of a quiet one. I mean, we had the Pro Bowl and stuff last week. We talked about it, but I was near, Vegas, for the thing coming up, the big game, if you will, tomorrow,
Absolutely.
and all of that. So that was good to see some of that environment before coming back home. And, made sure to get a nice little souvenir as
Oh
well.
yeah, and we're gonna get to it because this is You Don't Watch Sports, where we're gonna cover three topics, just a little bit of sports information to sprinkle into your conversation. We're the guiding light through the sea of sports talk. We're gonna go simple, three topics, get it started with the obvious one. The big game is this Sunday, Omari. We got the Kansas
Indeed.
City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. For it all, the trophy. What are you thinking? What do you think is going to come out of this? You know what? Hold on. Let me go. Let me go smaller here. Let's go smaller.
All right.
Brock Purdy versus Patrick Mahomes. Who you got? Who you like
As
better at the quarterback position?
Who do I like better at the quarterback position? I'm gonna be honest, it's still Mahomes. Like both. Purdy could end up doing that. In fact, I'm rooting for him to in the end
Yep.
be on that same thing, but 2 years versus the 6 year right now the resumes just ain't adding up. We'll see, if that changes, with the resume upgrade of a win Sunday. But right now, Mahomes. There's no reason for me to say Purdy over Mahomes.
That is completely fair. Let's go next. Leading offensive threat. Christian McCaffrey, running back for the San Francisco 49ers,
Yep.
or the Mahomes Kelsey connection. Who you
The
got?
combination.
Well, I mean, Kelsey can't do it without Mahomes. McCaffrey's kind of on
Fair.
its own, but you'd regularly the leading receiver is going to be Travis Kelsey because the ball gets spread out so much in Kansas City.
Fair. I'm gonna go McCaffrey
Yeah.
primarily because, kind of as you mentioned, there's a lot that Kelsey can't do without Mahomes throwing it to him.
Right.
And they're strictly down to passing plays if you look at it like that, unless you want to count Mahomes's rushing yards in that Mahomes Kelsey connection thing. But even still, McCaffrey, while he's well known for being a running back, and haven't watched a lot of him in San Fran, but considering the amount of success they're having and the amount that they're contributing to him, I'm going to assume his role is very similar to that in Carolina, where it was running for a ton of yards or just catching some passes too, because he was a good catching running back as well. He was great in PPR like fantasy leagues.
Absolutely. Maybe the bet. Let's do the better actual on-field versus matchup here. Christian McCaffrey versus the Steve Spagnuolo Kansas City Chiefs defense that he has created this season. That admittedly, although the offense has been underperforming at times this season, the Chiefs defense has held very potent offenses to some of the lowest numbers of the season for them. What do you think? What do you think McCaffrey's going to do there?
If hmm, So my thing with that is I'd want to say maybe, a running thing. Maybe they're really good at stopping the run because they beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens a few weeks ago.
Very
However,
high-powered
however,
offense that was
however, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens also did very little even attempts of the running that they're known for doing. So it's one of those things to be like, well, when you only rush like 6 times, who's to say that sample size that
Mhm.
over the time of the game, because the whole idea with the rushing game is you pound and pound and pound, and you fatigue out the defense. Eventually, these big motherfuckers are gonna get tired of running into each other, and holes will open up, and you're just banking on your running back outlasting all of those collisions. I know there's more to it and nuance, but at the end of the day, that's a nice little simple way to be like for teams that are run heavy. You're playing the fatigue game. So who's to say with someone like Lamar Jackson and the fact that like he had his own players like Odell yelling at him, why the fuck aren't you running your Lamar Jackson? Stop
Mm-hmm.
trying to beat them with the pass.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that Lamar can't pass,
I mean,
but
is that any
that's
credit?
both his game.
Is that any credit to what the defense is showing or alluding to show? We don't know what's going on there,
Exactly. So
on a
you could
on
say,
a
but
micro
that's
level.
that's what I'm saying. That's my only caveat is the small sample size. How
Right.
so? I think McCaffrey's going to. I think it's going to be a close game. I think both teams because both teams have high powered offense and strong defenses.
Yeah. I think it's
Because
going to
the
be a good game.
49ers defense ain't nothing really to slouch at either.
Absolutely not.
And so with that, it's either going to be both offenses find the holes to blow up the counter strategies,
Mm-hmm.
or we're going to have a fucking 17-20 game.
Yeah. Like you said a couple of weeks ago, the 49ers defense may have been the thing that broke the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
They were never the same after that. So you have to also give credit to the defense on the other side. So give it to me. Who you got?
Just because of the way everything's looking, and because I got a bad feeling about it, I got the Chiefs winning.
Okay, so that's a head, not heart.
That's a head, not heart. Heart, because I want to root for the 49ers just because the Chiefs get everything. I'm not going to be, again, not going to be super mad if the Chiefs win,
No,
but
yeah.
everything is lining up that says
Right.
Chiefs
We've seen that
continue
before.
winning.
And it's kind of shocking that they haven't gone the route of evil empire yet in the fandom's eyes overall. Like they're still a very popular team, and usually at some point you become a Houston Astros, a a LA Lakers, where you get
New
booed in
England
every other
Patriots.
away team, like
New England Patriots. I think that starts next year. If it
yeah.
hasn't, because the seeds are starting this year. You're hearing the rumblings of that, like okay, but it's like so. If they win this Super Bowl, I can definitely see that starting next year. All
Uh-huh.
right, Patriots too, because I'm already seeing the complaints about the refs being on their sides and missing calls and all of that. And so
That
starting,
talk is gonna happen one way or the other. You know it is. Yeah.
but it's getting louder and louder, and that's how you eventually become the other,
Yeah.
those teams. It's like, well, of course they won. They're the faces of the league. They're gonna
Hmm.
rig the games for them. Of course, they're already being accused of having games rigged for them with the whole Swifty movement.
Yeah.
So, but when you're talking about the whole proposal thing a couple weeks ago, convinced me that the Chiefs are winning this and that
Oh
that's
my
going to
gosh.
happen.
I mean,
Not that it'll be rigged, but just because
and there's no saying that a
everything's
proposal would even happen or anything.
well, I'm saying not that it
It's
would be
just
rigged, but just because the way 24 is going anyway, where it's trying to start off relatively positive with things, or at the very least, it seems like the world's moving. And like you mentioned, something to be big and like, it's okay, world. Time can be happy. Here's, America's sweetheart, Taylor Swift, marrying a football player that won the Super Bowl.
yeah.
Yay. So I could see that. For me, the better story is some dude that got drafted at a position that's literally called irrelevant wins the Super Bowl. Also, I have a personal agenda because I think it'd be cool if someone who was the last pick of the draft won a lot of Super Bowls. Because then it's like anyone who got picked earlier in the draft that won a lot of Super Bowls. You weren't the last pick. This is a better success story. That's
Hmm.
how I feel. But
There's one of my favorite quotes of all time is to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah, and if he
Uh,
beats the man, that
yeah,
who can
this
what
is
can we
this is
say?
this is the scenario. Like Patrick Mahomes is the man. If Brock Purdy beats the man, that is cementing a legacy. Um, I just don't think the man is done. And
Got you.
I am going with the Chiefs as well. Um, it's
Yeah.
going to be amazing either way. It's going to be a great story and a great finish. And I think, like we discussed here today, it's two great teams. There, it's not one of these Super Bowls where you already have the feeling that it's going to be a one-sided affair. I think it's going to be strong, good football, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, same.
Halftime show is also going to be a big moment in every Super Bowl. This year we have Usher
Yes,
performing.
sir.
Are you
They
excited?
they pressed the
Is that
usher
a thing?
button.
Is that a thing
Yeah,
for Omari?
it should be fun. I remember the worst one of if not the worst Super Bowl halftime show. It
Give it
was
to
the
me.
Black Eyed Peas.
Okay.
It was not good,
Yeah.
and it was pretty bad. I believe we were watching that Super Bowl together. I
That
think
could be.
Niz was there because I remember they pressed the Usher button halfway during that because it was so bad, and then all of a sudden, just Usher just comes in from the fucking rafters, and I was like, yeah. And I think I remember Niz and I both making jokes about like
They had to push
send
the
in
Usher button.
Usher. They're bombing. Send in Usher.
uh,
So I think with him being the only thing that helped like save that particular halftime show, and it still didn't really, considering overall in people's memory, they just remember Black Eyed Peas not that good.
right.
Usher's an entertainer. He's a very great entertainer. This is a
Oh yeah.
very big stage for him. And with the essentially pressing this Usher button this year because their original target for the Super Bowl halftime show said she didn't care about the NFL and it wasn't big enough for her.
No, she
And
said
so she said no. And
that.
so they
No,
were
she
like,
was
well, shit.
actively doing her tour.
Well, shit. And they're like, well, shit, we need somebody to do the halftime show. Here's
She was
Usher.
busy.
It doesn't matter. That's on her.
I
That's
mean,
on
yeah,
her. That's fine.
we're not gonna spread lies here.
I'm not spreading lies. I'm just saying it's fine. It makes sense. She is bigger than the NFL.
That's
I've been
not what
told this
she's
numerous times. I've
she's
been told
she
that
was
numerous
doing
times
her
throughout this
tour.
whole
She's
season.
busy. She already had dates booked.
Yeah.
She's literally in Tokyo the same day. People are doing YouTube video essays about the logistics of her trying to get herself to the Super Bowl just to watch it, let alone the entire show to the Super Bowl to be able to perform it. She's going to
Yeah,
be in
no,
Tokyo that same calendar day.
it's fine. There's no judgment here.
She didn't say.
Bottom line is Usher came through. It should be fun.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think it's going to be a good one. And he's been doing a Vegas residency, so he's already kind of been fine
Oh
tuning
yeah. Oh yeah. If
a
he's doing a
greatest hits
residency in
show.
Vegas, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that should be good. Because he's
Uh
in Vegas. So
oh yeah, and he's in Vegas. So yeah, and they're going to be able to do move in anything into the stadium that they want because it's been sitting there at his show for this whole calendar year. So I'm excited for it. It should be really really cool. Greatest of all time halftime show is Prince down in Florida in the rain.
but
There's no topping that.
yeah.
But
But
there
also a legend of entertainment.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But there's there we're kind of running out of people to do it. I mean, really, that's why everybody assumed that it was going to be Taylor, because like those big arena level acts were kind of running out of them, or they've already done it,
Mhm.
or it's Jay-Z who said that he's not going to do it. So it's going to be interesting who we keep going forward. Like, Are we gonna end up seeing a bunch of those like MTV style produced ones that we had for a few years where it was just like it was like 10 different people trying to do a halftime show together and we hear like 30 seconds of I don't know.
Like the hip hop one a couple of years ago,
Right.
which was a fun one,
Right.
but it
Oh
was
my
just
God. My
like,
favorite part of that is that there was all of this humongous pageantry and everything for I mean it was like it was Dr. Dre's show, right?
yeah, something
In
like
theory.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's this big modern art stage and then it goes to Kendrick Lamar and I just picture him being like, "All right, I'm going to need 8 dudes and a bunch of cardboard boxes." And then he makes the most compelling moment of that entire show, just standing on the football field with a with cardboard boxes. It's insane. He is such an incredible artist. I'd love to see him having a halftime show to himself.
That'd be cool.
Let's jump. We've spent a ton of time on the Super Bowl. We'll see you Sunday and we'll talk about it the weekend after. Um a big winning streak happening in the NHL that finally came to an end. I'm sorry that we didn't catch it while it was active. But the Oilers have just finished a 16 game winning streak, coming real close to the NHL record. And we were talking about this a little bit off air very impressive, but also simultaneously feels a little small. Am I wrong?
Right. Well, yeah, we're used to like 20. I figured it'd be like 20 or something would be the winning streak. If that usually that's around something, but because there's a lot of games in hockey, I think we both agree there's a lot of games in hockey. You figure like just percentage wise, or how I was saying, is like percentage as to a percentage of how long you are that good against your peers based on your season. Longer season, same amount of time would be more wins for you just because you have more games,
Right.
even over that amount of time. But no, 16 was there, but they came one shy because they went against the reigning defending champions, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah, and I'm surprised that we didn't talk about the Oilers, but I think we mentioned we're that's why we're not experts. We're casual fans like you,
Well, we're
slightly more than
casual fans
casual.
just like you. It's exciting though because the Oilers have completely turned around their season with this winning streak. They were not doing well, and then with this streak, they were able to build themselves up to third in the division. They now have a playoff spot, and only hopefully rising from here.
Yeah,
Famously, I know from my time in St. Louis, going into the All-Star break, the St. Louis Blues had the worst record in the NHL. That year, they won the Stanley Cup. So anything can happen from here on in the season. We're just now reaching the All-Star break. Perfect time. Perfect time to turn it around.
I feel like that's just how most St. Louis teams do it when they win. They're just like, oh hey, here we are, not being that good, and hey, surprise, we're finally good for the second half of the season and won. You didn't
Oh,
think we would do this, did you?
yep.
Neither did we.
It
Haha.
makes it incredibly dramatic. And man, it that's what makes that's just one of the things that makes sports entertaining.
And it also makes it easier to get through like bad seasons because you can hold on to that hope that things will turn around longer than teams that never win. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Go. As a Cardinals fan and a Panthers fan, I have an easier time if the Cardinals start the season bad. I think, as exemplified on our show, because I was like, we'll do it. And you're like, I'm
It's
like,
not
we'll
looking
do
like
it.
this year.
But Panthers go 0-2, and I'm like, well, see you next year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yep, that's true. That's true. And I love it. That's what, like I said, that's what makes sports entertaining. And then for our final topic, speaking of sports entertainment,
Oh, okay.
one of the biggest weeks ever in another offshoot of sports that I wanted to bring into the conversation because it has reached the mainstream, Omari. You happen to be
Yes,
in Vegas.
I
The
was.
Super Bowl happened to be in Vegas.
Yep.
There
The
was another
losing
little thing that
streak,
happened
the
to be in
losing
Vegas.
streak ended in
The
Vegas,
losing
and
streak ended in
now,
Vegas. Omari, the Vegas. Oh my
and
god.
now
Oh
we
my
got this other
god.
thing in Vegas. Where I go, stuff happens. Anyway, the bottom line,
Tell him the bottom line, Omari. Tell him the bottom line.
WrestleMania, the main event of that card, the past few weeks has just been up and crazy, just causing a buzz all over the place, hashtags and everything, because your Royal Rumble winner, Cody Rhodes, everyone's favorite, adrenaline in his soul and all of that, coming out here, the American Nightmare wins the Royal Rumble, points at Roman Reigns like, I'm coming for you. You specifically. Screw you. Screw CM Punk. I'm going to do the fucking too sweet Kenny Omega finger bang. I'm the
Humongous
best.
for wrestling fans, right?
People
Humongous
popping
for
off.
active watching the product wrestling fans. Huge
Yes.
for them.
Huge for them. And
2
then
weeks later, what happens?
2 weeks later, Cody Rhodes, after meandering over his decision of who he should challenge at WrestleMania, despite pointing at the man and saying, I'm coming for you, right when he wins, comes out, meets Roman Reigns face to face, and says, I am coming for you. I'm taking everything you've known, just not at WrestleMania. If you smell what the Rock is cooking. Rock comes out, and then in a weird move, not a good look for any character, and I'm still gonna give them time to help, smooth over that bump in this, the one bump that there is to this. Cody Rhodes just submissively gets in the ring with the Rock and just like, you can fight him in Mania. Rock whispers something to him. He says nothing and walks back to the backstage like a sad puppy while Roman and Rock look at each other. And they're like, it's Rock versus Roman at Mania, the biggest main event. In which, if you're a casual non-watcher,
yeah,
that probably is the biggest main event for you.
Casual,
Huge.
yeah.
Huge for non-watchers.
People who don't care about wrestling but love Moana are texting their people that they know that watch wrestling and saying, "Oh, The Rock is going to do wrestling again. You must be really excited."
Yeah, or the people that, exactly.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Turns out, Omari, the wrestling fans did not like this decision, and they made it known. They started hashtag We Want Cody, internet trends, trending top in America, worldwide, on X, Instagram, Facebook. The few live shows that we have been presented in this time period have all had a lot of "We Want Cody" chants. Images of The Rock have been booed for the first time in a decade or more. So they announce a press conference. Now, no matches have officially been announced, but we all assume that it's The Rock and Roman Reigns.
I'll put it this way: they put the motherfucker on the goddamn marquee for WrestleMania in Vegas. They had it like as early as Thursday morning. It was Rock, Roman, and Cody wasn't even on it. It was like Rock, Roman, and two other people, and so they hadn't made any match official. Well, they had made it pretty fucking official in the people's eyes.
Right. Now, we'd never know. We'll probably never know if this was always the route that they were going to go, or if they had listened to the fans and changed the decision. But for the first time in a long time, the biggest movie star in the world, owner of a tequila company, owner of an energy drink company,
owner of a football league,
owner of a football league that is about ready to start again.
Yeah, go Battlehawks.
Made in wrestling terms what is called a heel turn, Omari. He's going to play the bad guy in the wrestling world for this story coming up. And he must just be putting a lot of faith and trust in the general public to be able to separate the two worlds.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest here, The Rock is putting a lot on the line.
Yeah. Also, he's a director of the board for
Of
WWE,
course. Yes.
which probably played into the booze. I'm not gonna lie,
Oh,
because it's
absolutely.
like, oh, you just came in and clearly just threw your weight around and said, "I'm the boss. Also, I'm gonna do this."
Um, so yes, it is an insanely exciting time in wrestling, and I hope it gets pushed further. Um, and I'm so excited for it, and I wanted to talk about it here because it's kind of the ultimate dream of it gets the match that I want to be the match, and we get this version of The Rock that
Yeah.
is actually makes him entertaining in the wrestling space again.
Yeah.
It had
I
kind of
mean, he
it
he
was driven by
became a
nostalgia
face
before
because
this.
of his heel work.
Right. Exactly.
He started as a face, but whenever Rock comes back as a face, well, not whenever, but often when they just say, "Here's the Rock, cheer for him," especially when they first came up, Rocky Maivia, Survivor Series. Look at me, I looked at the wrong camera. Uh Everyone hated him. Die Rocky die. Literal chant. Turns heel, starts talking back. People love him. He's The Rock. Has a little face thing for a while. Then he has the whole leaves Hollywood, comes back as Hollywood Rock as a heel again. People fucking love Hollywood Rock enough to where he's kind of forever face Rock until now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a huge deal. It's a
But now
huge
he's
deal.
even more Hollywood in real life than Hollywood Rock the character. Hollywood Rock the character had just really done the Scorpion King.
Yeah. No, this isn't Hollywood Rock. This is Corporation Rock. This
Well,
is
now yeah, corporation. Now it's Bloodline Rock.
right. It's everything. Yeah, like I said, I just hope people in the general public recognize this as just another movie role
Yeah,
that he's going to do over the course of 4 months.
yeah.
Um uh because yeah, I'd hate to and I hate some of the more vicious things that have been going online towards him and his family.
Oh my God,
Um
the death threats to his
so
daughter.
so that
Yeah.
stuff
By the
needs to
way, folks,
stop.
death threats were sent to his daughter because people thought he took Cody's
Yeah.
spot.
And turns out this could have been all a plan the entire time. Uh
Because it's worked before. It's called
yeah.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, about
Um,
9 months ago, The Rock already had given an interview that said that he really wanted to participate in last year's WrestleMania. And he sat down with his writing staff and they got something that they thought was interesting, but it just never crossed the finish line. We don't know if that was,
Something
they
like
could have
this.
been building this for a long time. He stated many times that if he comes back, he wants to be able to do something that had never been done before. One thing that classic old WWE didn't like to do was change legends' status. If a legend was a good guy, he is going to be forever a good guy. If he was a bad guy, he is forever a good bad guy if he retires at that point. And they're just cemented in
Yeah,
that
like
role.
whatever they were when they retired, they're pretty much
Yeah.
that
And,
forever.
and the ownership of that company at the time did not want that changed. They were locked into that role once they retired. And so this would be something that's never done before.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's going to be the biggest WrestleMania of all time. It is the Super Bowl of wrestling, which is why
yeah,
we talked
yeah.
about it here.
Nice. And it happened in Vegas. Now, you're right. This is a dream, whole dream scenario. I just hope you're ready for when the American nightmare recurs.
Omari's still on that.
And we get more rubber chickens. Now, if Cody wins, cool. But it all depends on if they actually want Hogan's streak to be beaten or not.
I I
But
I
that's a
am
topic.
I am not yeah, I'm not guaranteeing that Cody wins at WrestleMania 40, But at this point, I am guaranteeing that the nightmare version of the story that Omari preaches is wrong. That man will hold the belt. He may not do it at WrestleMania 40. They may
That's
want
fair.
Roman. They may want Roman to pass Hogan's streak. I'm not going to deny that.
That's a very fair assessment. Yeah. So
That's it. That's it. You can also see us banter about random shit over on a different show this guy hasn't seen right here on the Feo Grande YouTube network. You can see Omari on a different YouTube channel called Whatever We Want with the man, the myth, the legend, Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
Where they do exactly that. Talk about whatever they want.
Yeah.
Where else can they find you on the internet, Omari?
You can also find me on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Trying to stream a lot more in 2024. But yeah.
Love it. That we gave you a lot today, folks. It's a super sized episode of You Don't Watch Sports. Have a great weekend.